Good morning, and there's so much to unpick about the attack on Poland last night. Was it intentional? Was it accidental? Was Russia testing the fences? Was there a missile malfunction? Was there an attempt to deflect, to protect Ukraine with missile salvos which went wrong? Or should we simply look at the fact that the missiles were within reach of an attack from Belarus, where I understand Russia has missiles stationed? It's difficult. Russia says that it hasn't done anything, and President Erdogan says very firmly that we should accept Russia's statement. Other nations like Estonia say that it was an isolated incident and we should move on. Finland, like a lot of Europe, says that we should look for more details. What we should definitely do is assist Poland. There was an impromptu G7 meeting during the night, and the result seems to be that Ursula von der Leyen says there will be a ramp up in support for Poland. I think it's to be regretted that President Xi and Rishi Sunak didn't meet. That meeting was apparently scuppered by all the fuss, but it would be very good to get the president on side and to have some positive pressure put on Russia to wind down the aggression. Because that's really what it is. This is, Sunak has said, a casual disregard for human life by Putin. Absolutely. One man unwilling to be at the summit, Putin. One man waging war with missiles, with food shortages, with energy prices, an illegal war, a war of invasion, killing civilians, destroying infrastructure. This is probably the most important, well, without doubt, this is the most important thing at the moment. But the question of climate change is still there. And President Putin is thrashing around in his pram, throwing missiles in all directions. If he was not directly responsible for the attack on the Polish farm, he was indirectly responsible. And he must be held to account. We, on the other hand, must make absolutely sure that this is not escalated into a full-scale global conflict. I don't think, despite some of the comments, that a full-scale global conflict will help Ukraine. And I don't think that there's any positive resolution from that. The only resolution is negotiation. The only resolution is negotiation. Referring to comments, there has been a spike in comments from the pro-Russian faction, which I suppose one should accept. Someone has asked me what my interest in Russia is. Well, I worked in Russia for many years. I was a professor in a university in Russia, and I know Russia surprisingly well. At the same time, as I have said a few times, I think, I did a few courses in the Presidential Academy and a university called MGIMO about journalism and courses for journalists, and I specifically did a course on journalistic ethics. And shortly after that, I was asked to do a number of interviews on a couple of Russian TV programs, one called NTV. And I was suspicious of these interviews because what was going out didn't seem to be what I'd said. And I took a video of one of the interviews while it was being conducted, with the permission of the cameraman, who I liked and who I got on well with. And then I compared the two, and I was absolutely right. I was being dubbed with completely fake information that I had never said. And I flagged this up. The Russian news channel wasn't terribly interested. And eventually, after about a year, I passed the information on to the BBC, who were very interested, and they wrote an article, because the same television channel had also done the same thing to Professor John Curtis, who's the psephologist, who is wheeled out whenever we have an election. And he had also been dubbed with completely fake information. So this was at a time when there wasn't an international crisis, when there was no urgency in what we said or didn't say. But Russian media instinctively dubbed fake words into our mouths. Russian media is trained to deceive and to lie. So I'm afraid when I talk about Russian propaganda being deceptive, I'm talking from experience. I'm not just invoking some sort of anti-Russian polemic. I am genuinely talking from experience. And if Russia does this in peacetime, how much more does it do it in a time of war?